Hello again. Welcome to another session of the 15th annual Transforming the Teaching and Learning Environment. I'm Bob Hales. I'm your moderator. Don't forget, immediately after this session is over, we have the Wall Street Journal doing another workshop. Should be interesting. It was yesterday. And if you have a few minutes to stop in, please do. The session we have now is an interesting one, boosting online course success with an embedded success coach approach. We have with us Jackie Allen, Jessica Davis, Andre Bernal, Pedro Gonzalez, and Francisco Lizarraga. Is that correct or close?
Not bad, not bad.
Okay, thanks. They're part of Pima Online at Pima Community College in Tucson, and they're going to tell us about an embedded success coach. So take it away.
Thank you so much, Bob. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Like Bob mentioned, my name is Jackie Allen, and I'm the Director of Online Student Success here at Pima Community College. So we hope your weather today is just as great as ours. But we'll go ahead and get started. And I have with me today a wonderful team of superheroes that we would like to have each of them introduce themselves. So if I could hand it over to Jess, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Jessica Davis. I am an online success coach for Pima Online, and I primarily work in math classes, although I do have some business classes this semester. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Pedro, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Pedro Gonzalez. I am a college success coach at Pima Community College. I serve both face-to-face courses and online and virtual courses. And primarily, I work in developmental educational courses such as math, writing, reading, and then I have a few upper-level math courses as well.
Thank you. And Francisco.
I am Francisco Lizarraga, college success coach as well. I primarily work with math, developmental as well, but I also have a few writing courses that I work with as well. And I do face-to-face and virtual and online. Thanks.
Thank you. And Andre.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andre Bernal, and I am also an online success coach for Pima Online, primarily in business and CIS courses and math 212 as well.
Thank you. And today we're going to focus on sharing with you how our online, coaches and our support in online courses impacts the online success of students and how we work to boost the online success. And so first, we'd like to tell you a little bit about Pima. Next, we'd like to really dive deep into what the coaches are able to do. This was a brand new program that started right around the time of COVID. We had plans to do this before COVID, and then COVID just came along and we said, okay, this is great. We're going to work with, this new embedded program. Not that COVID was great, but just that we had already thought of this as an extra support for students. And we'll share with you the day-to-day activities, how they connect with students and faculty, specifically in a more asynchronous environment, and then share with you some technology that they use. We'd like to bring you some data. So this could be student stories as well as quantitative data, and then see how this may, be different or the same to maybe a program that you have. We love to hear how others are working with coaching as well. So I will hand it over to Pedro.
Right. And so to get an idea of who we serve here at Pima Community College, here's some data that you have. And just so frame of reference, I guess, Pima is made of 5 campuses total. And we have the online division, which is located at one of our campuses. With an unduplicated headcount from spring of 2022, so just a year ago, we were at about 15,184 students. Unofficially, we had full-time students at about 4,242 folks. So again, you can see where our online is kind of strong there, where we have at least 60% of our students taking an online course at some point in time during the semester. Pima Community College is also a designated HSI, so that's a Hispanic Serving Institute, and we serve a student population of 46.6% Hispanic or Latino students. And a lot of students, again, tend to support full-time enrollment with the online courses, as they may travel between campuses to fill their schedules. So that's why we tend to see some students with part-time status, because again, they're going in between jobs and we have a more of a non-traditional student body. All right, and then on the next slide, kind of the origin of what Jackie kind of spoke about earlier is we have two separate divisions, and we have the college readiness and student success, which is where myself and Francisco are housed in. We began in the spring of 2020, again, right before the pandemic happened, and we supported all course modalities, both face-to-face, in-person, and virtual. But with the pandemic, we were forced to go strictly virtual or online for that first about year and a half of the new coach role. And so again, as I mentioned, we typically develop developmental education courses and gateway courses as well. And then Pima Online began just a little bit after the in-person face-to-face coach role, and that was in the fall of 2020. And that is connected to fully online asynchronous courses. And again, we only target online success gaps and high enrollment. So that's what we're kind of working with there with our students. And on the next slide is different roles at PCC. So as you can kind of see, we are in charge of connecting these students to all of these resources. And so we tend to play it a little closer to the student, whereas everyone else is kind of on the outside. We like to kind of be closer to the inside with the students and helping them connect to those folks, because you'd be surprised how many students don't know how to obtain tutoring or where the library is, or how to communicate effectively with their instructors. So all those types of things we help students develop over the time that we work with them in their courses. Obviously, you know, looking at success in the course, but how do we create a well-rounded, holistic approach to serving our students? And so that's where we're at right now. And I think now I will hand it over to Andre to go over the coach role.
Yes, thanks, Pedro. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the coach role and really what it looks like inside the courses here at Pima College. So really from the very beginning, we're reaching out to students. We really want to explain who we are and how we can help, as this is a fairly new position to the college. So students are still unaware of really what it is that we do, and it might be totally new concept to them. So really reaching out, trying to connect early on and really making sure they're all set up to start courses as far as, you know, they got their technology down, their books, and everything's ready to roll. And then from there, we're doing a lot of continuous monitoring of student progress. So we're constantly looking at grades, you know, assignments, making sure, you know, if they've missed a few, we're reaching out. Same thing with when they get to that low percentage grade. So with that being said, we try to connect those students right when we see those things happening. And luckily we have our instructors with us that do a great job of letting us know as well. They always refer students to us so that we can make that connection. The best way to make that connection is to do a coaching session one-on-one with the students. So that is really what we push for once we find out which students, you know, are in need of help. And the thing with online is it's a lot of email back and forth. And for some reason, you know, students don't want to always meet with you virtually. So we try to push that so we can get that coaching session, because that's when we can really dive in and see where they are struggling. And then from there, you know, a lot of the times it is lack of, you know, study skills. So we want to, you know, be able to provide students with those study skills and help them overcome that barrier, whatever it may be, so they can be successful in the course. I think the biggest thing is we want to provide tips and tricks and different strategies that they can use, not only in this course, but as they continue on their educational journey. If that happens again, they'll have those tools and those resources to overcome it once again if that happens. So that's really what we try to do in our coaching sessions. And and how we can help students overall be successful in the course. Lastly, you know, we definitely always give kudos to our students who are working hard and doing good in the course as well. So that's really what our role is, and how we are able to assist with students in the course. And then on the next slide here, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our non-course based efforts. So different things that we do outside of the classroom. Our classroom platform uses D2L. So we host navigation sessions, not just for the students that we have that are little courses we're embedded into, but all students. And we really dive into D2L, make sure, you know, they're aware of how to find their assignments, where they can locate their online books, different things like that. So we really dive in there and make sure students feel comfortable with D2L before they actually get started with courses. And this is great for our new students or those who are coming in from other colleges that maybe used a different platform for their courses. The other big thing we do is participate on college committees. The cool thing about our position is we get a unique view of really the student perspective. So because of that, we want to try to participate on committees where we can really, you know, show our knowledge and really give our, I guess you could say, our opinion on what the student view looks like. So we participate on certain committees where we can provide that information. We also host a number of video tutorials for students. We actually have a Pima Online YouTube channel where a lot of these videos are, a lot of how-to videos for iPhones, Androids, and then a lot of other, you know, study skill videos that are on there. And then of course, presenting at conferences just like this here. And, you know, we're constantly trying to develop our professional development. So that's something that we definitely take pride in. And then a fairly new thing that we've been doing is the college intake survey outreach. So what this is when any student applies to Pima College, they'll be required to take an intake survey. And a lot of these questions we help come up with as well, but they're there to identify where students may struggle depending on their answers. So once we look at that intake survey, we're reaching out and, you know, depending on how they answered certain questions, we'll say, hey, it looks like you answered this way. You may be able to struggle in this point. So we want to talk to them, give them some resources, and really make sure they're comfortable with starting before they actually start courses. And lastly, being solely online, we want to make sure students feel like they're included in the college. So we do have a lot of engagement activities for our virtual students and online students, you know, things like best Halloween costumes or, you know, best family photos for Christmas, those kind of things. So we want to make sure everyone feels engaged. And we work a lot with Student Life to partner up and really do different activities for our online students. And I think, I'm not sure who this is next, but I'll pass it on.
It is me. Let's talk a little bit about the how and the why of connecting with students. So we have found as coaches really how important it is to let our students know about resources and give them support early on. Oftentimes, just by getting connected right away, we can really break down and prevent barriers to success. You know, one example that comes to mind is if a student has a device that's not working properly or is not compatible with like a testing service that we use for the class or something like that, we can help them get, you know, a laptop checked out right away from the Pima library. So things that can just kind of essentially break down anything that can make the class a difficulty for the student. And we find it's really valuable to kind of meet and check in with those students right away and just offer them those supports. And then the technology we really use to connect with the students, we use a learning management system called D2L. That's where their classes are held and that's where they can view grades and such. And then, you know, we also use a student management system called Starfish. And basically it's a system that we can use to communicate with students and faculty about their progress. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that works later on in the presentation. If you can go to that, thank you. And then just how we're kind of connecting with students. Recently, we just kind of started developing texting campaigns, which has been something new for us this semester and last semester. And so we're outreaching to students who may be struggling in the class, or if the instructor is concerned, we may reach out via text. We also do reach out via phone and email as well. One of the biggest things we do is we try to have coaching sessions with students, and these are just Google Meets appointments where we can meet one-on-one and really talk about what issues are going on and seeing what resources, might benefit them. During these sessions, we can talk about a variety of different things. It really depends on what the student's needing. So maybe they need help with time management skills or something like that, and we can connect to them about that. We also attend, if the instructor hosts any course sessions, we attend like basic information sessions, or maybe there's an orientation to the course, and we just kind of show up to say hi and let them know that we're available to help them. And then we have been doing also weekly email outreach, just with kind of like tips and success strategies for students to kind of keep them in the loop of things. We also include important, dates and deadlines at the college that might benefit them, or we're reminding them to register. Really just things that kind of help support them in being a better student and being on top of things. So those are kind of the ways we connect with the students. And then I think next we're going to share some of the resources that we actually share to our students. So yes, thank you. So we have a lot of different ways that we share resources, and there are a ton of different resources that we're sharing with the students at all times. We have a resource document for students that has, links to different videos and support tools that could help them. We also have a student success YouTube channel, and it has like all kinds of tutorials and videos to help them. Like, how do you register for a class? How do you drop a class? Stress management tips, time management tips, really all kinds of things. We also have on that YouTube channel, we have a study with Pima playlist, which is basically students can watch other students study, and they use a technique called the Pomodoro method. And so the students on the YouTube channel, they'll study for 25 minutes, set a timer, take a 5-minute break, and then, back at it, and they rotate that a couple of times. And so this is a really great way for students to, especially in the online realm, connect to another student, and have essentially like a study buddy to help them along the way. And then the time management calculator is a really great tool. Jackie, if you want to click on that, I would love that, because I would love to kind of show them what this resource is. This is a resource that I use a lot as a coach, because one of the things that I really notice with students is they may not be as good at managing their time as they think they are in an online class. And basically what this does, this is something I can do with a student, and they can enter in what the activities they are doing each week. So yeah, for example, okay, they sleep 8 hours a night, so a majority of their time spent sleeping in the week. And then maybe, they eat 7 hours, and then Jackie's going to kind of fill this in for me as we go. And you can see this circles kind of filling up with their activities, because you only have so many hours in 1 week, right? So it gives students a good idea of how they're actually managing their time. And probably my favorite thing about this is if you go down to the credit hours, students can put in, let's say they're a full-time student, they're taking, 15 credits in a 16-week format or something like that. You can see exactly how much time they need to be spending in their studies. So like 45 hours a week. Well, if they're also working full-time or something like that, then that circle will fill up, and it will actually turn red, and they'll be like, oh, we don't have enough time in the day or in the week to get everything done. And so what can we let go of, and what can we reprioritize? So it's a really great tool. You guys, you can use this too. You can go onto our Pima website and simply type in the search time management calculator. And if it helps you with your students, I highly recommend it. And then, of course, we have a few other items. We have a college success corner that's operated by the coaches that has another, just tons of resources. We've done newsletters for coaches, and then also our weekly, informational emails that have links and such to kind of help support the students as well. So we do have a really good variety of resources that we share with students. I think this is Francisco.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. So just kind of talking about the different ways that we introduce ourselves to the students. Usually before the courses start, the classes start, maybe a few days, maybe a week before classes start, we send an email to all the students, let them know who we are, give them some basic information about what our role is and how they could benefit from our services, and that we're here to support them. Also, when the classes start, whether they're virtual or online, usually instructors will have some type of an orientation on a certain day, on the first day for the virtual classes or a certain day for the online classes. And we are able to participate in that and kind of just, once again, share our role, what we do for them and how we can support them, and letting them know that we're partnering with their instructor to make sure they have all the success skills, the tools and the resources that they need to be successful. And with many of our classes too, they have a mandatory meeting to meet with us. And sometimes students ask, why do we have to meet with you? First of all, someone will offer the credit to write some type of points as an assignment. And it's really just to get to know the student, find out what their goals are here at Pima College, and let them know of how we can support them in their success, and not only in the class that we're embedded in, but also they can use those success skills in all of the other courses too. And for those of you wondering, yes, that is me in the picture. That was 20 years ago that we took that picture. But we also have the coaches playbook, which is an awesome PDF that some of the coaches send out to the students, and it breaks it down like in football terms. This is what happens the first quarter. This is what to expect from the coaches. This is what should be expected from the students too, and just kind of breaks it down the whole semester for them, so kind of have a big picture idea of what's going on and how we're going to be supporting them. Yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Jessica.
Okay, we wanted to just share another resource that we also have created and developed for the students. So we worked on an escape room. It's called Escape the Stress, and there's kind of 3 different facets. But Jackie, if you can click on it, we can show them kind of what it would look like. We're not going to go through this, but this is something that we would share with our students. And it's kind of just a fun way to engage them and help them learn the tools that Pima has for them to use. And so, basically this escape room, this one is a time management one, and they can click on the different clocks and it will take them to different tools and resources at Pima that can help support them. So this one's time management. It's definitely going to lead them to the time management calculator. And they're also going to be able to build themselves like a sample study schedule template with time blocking. So this is a really cool example to kind of keep them just, kind of engaged in it, because, let's face it, time management sometimes can be a little boring or tedious. And so we have to do something to kind of just like keep it a little more exciting. So that's our escape room.
All right, so I'm going to just show you an example of a method that we use in the coaching sessions. As you know, all of our coaching sessions are going to be altered depending on our student needs. But this is just one method that we use. And what I really like about this method is it's not just us really telling the students, this is what you can do to improve, or, these are some resources you should try out, but it's more having the student come to their own conclusion of what they need to do. Because a lot of the time students, they know, it's just a matter of talking it through with them and having them realize, man, I should be doing all these options and I already know about this. So it's really just helping them come to that conclusion on their own. So kind of how it works is we lay out GROW just as it is here. And then we start with the G, and this is something that they can fill out beforehand or during the coaching session, either way, but we'll start with G. So it's, what is your goal? We'll have the student really write out what it is that they're trying to accomplish in the course. And then we look at reality, and it's putting the question back on them, and what have you done so far to reach this goal? A lot of times that's, I haven't done anything, I'm not too sure, or maybe they've tried out certain things, so we have them list that down. And then we look at options. So before I go into options, I always like to ask why when we get to reality. So it's, what have you done to reach this goal? And if they haven't done anything, it's why. What is preventing you from really trying out different options, or what's preventing you from reaching that goal? And then we'll get into options, which is, well, so this is what you've tried so far, is what you haven't done. What could you try out to move towards your goal? And the cool part about this is we'll say, hey, here's 2 minutes, write down as many options as you can think of on your own of what you can do to move towards this goal that you're working on. So they'll list all the different options that they have. And then we get down there to the W, which is, out of all of these options that you just wrote out for yourself, which one are you going to actually be willing to try? And I'll have them rate it down from a scale from 1 to 10 of how likely they are going to actually do those things. And if it is a 7 or lower, I'll say go back and change that, because you want it to be in that 8 to 10 range, or else the likeliness of them actually going through with it is not going to happen. So it's like, which ones are you going to actually be willing to do right now? So you want to have them change it if it's a 7 or below, but if it's 8 or 10, awesome. So again, this is just a way for them to come to their own conclusion of different things they can have. And then of course say, that's great. This is some great things that you put out. Here's some other options you could try out as well to help you get to where you need to be. So again, this is just a method that we use here, and again, helps them come to their own conclusion and how they can help themselves. And then I'll pass it on to Francisco.
Thanks, Andre. So this is just an example of what our widget looks like in the learning management system. The instructors have their own widget where they share their basic information or their contact information. And we usually put our widget as coaches right below, near theirs or right below it. So students can have access to contact us easily, whether through email. And they can also, of course, schedule appointments with us through our student management system, which is called Pima Connect, which is Starfish. What's nice about that is that right there where it says click here to schedule an appointment, it actually opens up our schedule, the coach's schedule, and students can see what days and times are best for them. That way we're not going back and forth through emails or phone calls, trying to figure that out. So we do it either in 15-minute increments, 30 minutes, 20 or 40 minutes, depending on the student's needs or how much time they might want. We also have something called the College Success Corner that one of our coworkers created, and it's really just it is a website with more resources for students, where we have like how-to videos that some of our coworkers have created, like how to schedule an appointment with a program advisor. It also has like quick links to the website, because sometimes the Pima College website might be overwhelming for new to higher ed students, and we just have quick links for a lot of places on the website, like counseling, advisors, financial aid. Whatever students want, they can find all those quick links in there. And then we also have videos, helpful videos, just a list of videos, like for example, like note taking, study strategies, test taking strategies. All in one place for students to have access to. And we also have like deadlines, important dates and deadlines, like the withdrawal date, refund dates, and all that stuff. Through the learning management system, which we call D2L, Desire to Learn, we can also send emails to students there by their courses. We can put in announcements by different things happening at the campuses, for the college-wide also. And then we can definitely see the class list. We can identify students and see their progress. We can also participate in discussions or see the discussions. And we also definitely, what we use a lot is the grades to see their progress and see how they're doing in their class as well. On the next slide, this is also just another snippet there of what we can see from students. We can see their progress. Here is an example right there of the different logins, and we can see like their grade and their content. And we also have access to the digital course materials here at Pima. In the math classes, in certain math classes, we have a digital material like Mathia U, and we can see students' progress. And if ever they have questions, we can support them with that as well. And on the next slide, for coaches, it's all about our relationships, you know, that we create here with our instructors, with the faculty here. We want to create that partnership and trust with the team, because when we do meet with the students, we let them know that we're partnering, we're teaming up to support them. So we are a team. They have a network of folks that are here to support the students. So we meet with the instructors before the semester starts, during the semester, and after the semester. We're always we're in constant communication with them, talking about students, you know, and one of the other ways that the instructors let us know when they notice that a student might be struggling, maybe not turning in assignments, has missed a few classes or different things like that. We use our student management system where the instructor will create a referral, if you will, or an alert. And what we do is that we get the alert or the referral, and we reach out to the students. And we always tell them during the orientation when we meet with the students that if they do get an email from us and it does mention the word referral, it doesn't mean that they're in trouble. They don't have to go to the principal's office or anything like that. It's just a check-in, and we're checking in with them to work with them and see how we can support them and see how it's going in class. Like I mentioned before, most of our instructors have a coach assignment, either as a graded or it's for extra credit as well. So they meet with us once again, just to, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, check in to see what their goals are here at Pima, what their plans are, and how we can support them. Excuse me. So once again, we send out an initial email before the semester starts, and we talk about their syllabus if they have questions on that, and we also help out students in the D2L as well if they have just basic questions on where to go, how to do their checklist. So we're here just to support them, and we always tell students that whatever question they have about the college, they don't know where to go, they can always come to us first, and if we don't know the answer, we'll definitely guide them in the right direction. Right. And I'm going to pass it over to Jackie.
Yes, thank you, Francisco. And I did want to add to a question that was in the chat. It was a really wonderful question, just relating to the training that we provide for the coaches and how and who do we recruit for these roles. Pedro mentioned that we don't have a particular training system developed for the coaches when they onboard, but with their experience when we hire, they have all had experience working with students in higher ed most of the time, and maybe have come from advising or counseling or other areas, K-12 even, with working with students. And we do collaborate very often together in certain professional development. So we constantly are reading books together and doing, discussions along those and looking to see what might be available for us. We did participate in a short coaching program, but we are finding that it's difficult to see a direct match to what we do. So we're kind of just pulling in from different areas in what, resources we can find. So I'll go ahead forward with the graph you see here. We wanted to give you some quantitative data as well. And there are particular groups of students where really we're seeing great success with the coaching. And these course rates, these success rates, they may be also included with other ways that the course has improved or benefited to help the students succeed. So maybe the course was redesigned and we also added a coach in there to help them through the navigation and the success strategies and whatnot. So here in particular, we're looking at fully online students, and you can see over time, just when the coaches started in fall 2020 with this particular subject, math, is very much a concern for us, and all of the coaches support a certain type of math course. So with elementary algebra, this is a very high enrolled math course we have at the college, and you can see the bump up that we've experienced in the last few years. The next one is our fully online students as well, but this is in a higher level math class, fully online, and this is topics in calculus. So you can see we were struggling before, and there was a really big jump in in the success rate. And we are looking at success as grades of A, B, C, and then the other is the DFWs. And then with the next one, for college algebra, this is another highly enrolled course. This is a feeder into anything that's not really tied to liberal arts or the math area, engineering. A lot of business students will take this course. And so for our fully online Hispanic students, because we are an HSI institution, we definitely want to focus our attention on that population. We did see a bump in their success as well. And then another course that we offer, the elementary data analysis, we saw success again. So we're really excited about these numbers, and we also pair them, even more importantly, with student stories, because we hear constantly of how the coaches are able to support. And so we wanted each of the coaches to share an experience they had as well and provide a student story. So I'll go ahead and hand this over to Jess.
All right. So basically, all of my success stories kind of going through my head right now because the semester has just started. And so we're kind of doing a lot of meetings with students just to kind of gauge where they're at, if they're new to PIMA, if they're new to online classes, and kind of see what resources can support them. But I really believe that, we need to kind of meet with them right off the bat to make sure they have everything that they need in order to be successful. So some of the things, that I've found successful with students this semester is just really checking in and making sure, one, their device is working, two, they can access D2L, the learning platform, and they know how to navigate. I've spent many meetings this semester just showing students how to navigate through the course and where to get started, where to find their homeworks, or how to upload an assignment. I've had two students this semester now reach out that couldn't afford their course materials, and we've been able to get them scholarships so that they wouldn't be put behind. So to me, that's really impactful, and it will help the student in the long term so they don't get behind and they can continue to work in the class and really thrive. So those are a few of my semester start experiences. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to share my success story, a particular student I had in my Math 212 course that I embedded into. So this student, it was actually his second time taking the course. The first time I actually wasn't a coach in his course, so it was actually the first Math 212 class that I was embedded into. And he reached out from the very beginning and mentioned that it was the second time taking it because he didn't do very well the first time. So it was really just, me from the beginning saying, hey, well, let's go ahead and set up bi-weekly appointments starting from the very beginning through the semester. And we'll kind of work on different things that you need. And, it was a lot of time management stuff and giving him some resources for that. And also just other study skills, whether it was note-taking methods or getting test anxiety, those kind of things. So we kind of met bi-weekly throughout the entire semester, and I gave it up to the option to him of, hey, let me know if you're doing well to a point where we don't have to meet, or we can push it out to every month. But the students, he did awesome in his first exam, super excited. And then it went on to the second exam where it wasn't as good. And then it got to that third one where, he was nervous. But again, we just kept working every other week throughout the entire semester. And at the end, he ended up passing, and it was super awesome and it really excited. So he sent me this quote here, as you can see on the right-hand side, as we finished up. So it was just a great thing to see. And I always remember it because it was the first student who reached out to me as a coach and really thanked me for my guidance and support. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to the next story.
All right, so I have two stories here. One is academic and one is non-academic. And I think it's important to stress that we do focus a lot on the academic side of things with our students and ensuring that they do pass their courses, but also resource sharing and building that social capital is also very important. So that first one there is an example of a student not knowing that there was a scholarship available. And, you know, because I went into the class, I talked about it at the end of the semester saying, hey, if you need, you know, extra, you know, financial aid for the summer, here's this available scholarship. The student actually applied and they were awarded the scholarship for the summer. So they were very excited about that. And again, didn't have any idea prior to us going and kind of doing that resource sharing when we visit with the students. So again, something important that we kind of focus on. The next one is for a Math 92 online course. And this student was new to online from the very start of the semester, new to Pima, new to higher ed. Really, again, nervous about taking an online class because they had, you know, some experience with it due to the pandemic and stuff. They had to finish off, you know, their schooling like that. And so when they started here at Pima, they weren't sure if it was going to be the same. And then when they got into the class, they were, you know, again, nervous. How do I go here? What? And so really taking the time to work with them, walk them through those steps, ensure them that they have somebody to reach out to if they have questions, you know, is very important for these students. And so, again, you know, a very grateful student there who, you know, was very excited about having a successful first semester. And I think, again, that's important for our retention rate. Somebody was asking about retention, right? We want to continue to build not just for that semester, but for later on. So hopefully, you know, by working with them, they understand this is how I need to manage my time for next semester. This is how I plan my schedule for next semester, or I need to do more studying, tutoring, et cetera, et cetera. So again, that's kind of what we focus on with the students there. And then I think, yes, challenges. So even though we've had a lot of success or we've seen success with our students, we do come across some challenges. And one of those things, again, as I mentioned earlier, was student lack of social capital, you know, not knowing what's available, who's there to assist them, how to access those types of resources is very important. And especially for first generation college students, which we tend to serve a lot here at Pima as well, is they're really nervous to ask anybody any kind of question because they don't want to seem like they don't know what's going on. And so we kind of build that bridge for them to get over that barrier. Digital literacy, as we've explained, you know, all of us have had an instance where we've walked somebody through something or showed them how to do this. We've created videos to walk students through different processes, whether it's registering for classes, withdrawing or dropping from classes, linking up their D2L calendar along with their Google Calendar so they get alerts, you know, using apps, things like that. So again, there's a lot that goes into that. And so really working with students early on is a challenge, because if we can't get them tech ready, online courses tend to be a bit more difficult. But again, we're there constantly with them working to provide those resources and that support. Faculty partnerships, you know, although we do have a good amount of classes that we're embedded in, some faculty are still kind of not sure of who we are, what we're doing, especially if we have never worked with them prior. You know, they kind of just don't know, like, what's this new role? What are you here for? You know, what are you doing? How much access? So we really work and partner ourselves with our faculty in order to build that trust for one, and then to show them that we're there to make the students' lives easier and to make their lives easier as well by providing some extra support and resources for those students in case the instructor doesn't have, you know, a lot of time or they have a lot of students in need. We're there to kind of lend that helping hand. So with the disciplines and understanding the value of support and leveraging our services, that's something that we're continuing to work on, is promoting it more throughout the college to say, hey, this is what coaches are, this is what we're doing, here's our data, here's our success, you know, and really trying to branch out into more of the courses that we have and branching off more so from the dev ed coursework that we're all pretty much embedded in, and slowly working our way up to those higher enrolled, higher level courses throughout Pima. Volume of courses to support, typically, you know, we have anywhere from 12 to 15 courses per semester. So that ranges anywhere from 350 to 400 students. And so we have to find unique ways to be able to serve all of our students, and not just in a reactive manner, but a proactive manner. We want to try to stop any challenges that may occur early on so that they don't develop into bigger things for the student as the semester progresses. So really being connected to that and being on top of that is very important to us. And so we're learning how to utilize our learning management systems to help us figure out who's needing help earlier on in the semester. And then hopefully, as we kind of continue to see this program grow, and hopefully with more of the success that we're seeing, we continue to fund get more funding to include more coaches, to hire more coaches on. So we started originally with 2. I was one of the first 2, and now we have a total of 7 for the entire college. 5 face-to-face, in-person, online, virtual, and then the 2 online only coaches here as well. And at the end of the day, it's all about building meaningful relationships. That's what we really strive for. That's why we tend to have those first meetings, so that we don't have to reach out on a negative note and saying, hey, you haven't, you're kind of struggling in class. We want to meet with them early on to say, hey, this is who I am. Who are you? Tell me about your life. What do you got going on, and how can I support you for this semester? And so those are some of the things that we're currently working on to kind of develop and improve the coaching role. Back to school.
All right, thanks, Pedro. So just just some questions here for you. I'm not sure what your role is at your institution, but what would be some of the first steps you would take to implement something like a success coach at your institution? And also, what are some of the takeaways? I know some of you have been commenting on the chat there. Is there a similar role at your institution? And what are some things that you would use? So I don't know if we open up the mic or the chat, Jackie.
I think we could, if anyone would like to share. We're always wanting to learn more about how other institutions may be offering coaching in a similar fashion, as we have been able to explore. Many are more combined with advising and report through like student services or student affairs, where ours is more through the academic side of the house. So we're always wanting to know, how others are looking at it, or maybe if you have any questions for us, as we have, I think, just a couple more minutes. And if you'd like to speak, I believe we can unmute you if you would like. Well, we'll also provide the next slide. Just if you'd like to reach out to any of us, we have our information here that you can email us if you'd like. And it looks like there is a question, so I know we're close on time.
Yeah, I have a question. So
Oh, yeah.
when you were selling the idea of this concept, how did you decide on the number of coaches that you're going to ask for? Was it here's how much money you got, then you go with that? Or did you say each coach shouldn't have more than X number of students?
I can definitely, that's a great question, Bob. I can share from my experience with hiring Jess and Andre. Pedro and Francisco report through another area, and they were the ones that onboarded first. So I believe the goal was looking at the specific courses that the dean wanted to have support in, and also the campus-based support that they provide. But I think there was a limit on how many we were able to do. For the 2 that I was able to hire, because it was during COVID and fall of 2020, we hired 8 or 9 different roles in Pima Online. And so we had to share the wealth. And so that's where we started with 2. I am hoping to add, 2 more to my team fairly soon, if we can get approved. But it really is trying to look at the data. What I did was I reviewed online success data. I reviewed the gap that we have in certain courses. So say for a particular math, even though we may have low success in both online and not online, was there a larger gap in online? And so we could target that online course. So that was one of my goals, is to, knowing that we wouldn't have, 20 or 30 that could support the college, where could we make the most difference?
Did you look at any other colleges, universities that had a similar operation to get some ideas?
We did. I did very early on, yes. And it gave me some helpful ideas, but I never found like there was an exact one that I was like, okay, this is really what I would like to implement. Because for me, I was trying to help we did not have a lot of support for students once they register at the college, and then there could be several weeks or months until they start. And so how could we, you know, kind of help students become more prepared? And so for the coaches being in the courses, they can really understand what preparation the student needs and can reach out early on and definitely during the course. We do have tutors and we do have advisors that will respond to early alerts, but those roles do not have as much access as what the coaches do inside of the course to really understand what's going on. And that was a
Okay.
big feat for us, trying to get, you know, the access to the coaches similar to what the instructors' access is. They really have, you know, exactly what the instructors can do in the course.
Well, it looks like it's been successful so far.
We hope to continue that, yes.
Well, I think we're out of time.
Thank you so much.
I thank all of you. You probably gave us some ideas and maybe try and get something similar. So